Carl was laid off for drawing a poker card, but this misfortune turned into a blessing as he succeeded in starting his own business. Carl was once a streetcar driver, and his wife Annie was a veteran restaurant supervisor. Every day, she most looked forward to taking her husband's last train home. Though their income wasn't high, their life was full of romance. After Carl was fired, his temperament changed dramatically, argued with cashiers at movie theaters, and complained to his succulent plants. After drinking, he revealed the truth about his unemployment, refused to apply for unemployment benefits, and insisted on finding work on his own. Since Annie still had her job, she felt their livelihood was secure for the time being. The next day, Annie helped Carl dress properly for a job interview, but he returned home drunk. Even more unexpectedly, the restaurant where Annie worked was acquired, and the new owners were rehiring waitstaff. The former owner lamented that the acquisition amount barely matched their bank loan, suggesting it might be a bank conspiracy. After Annie lost her job, she searched everywhere for work, but was rejected for being too old at 38, despite having over 10 years of restaurant management experience. Seeing waitresses in their early 20s, she realized her age was a disadvantage. Just when Annie was in despair, Carl found work driving tourists to St. Petersburg, but his driver's license was revoked when a physical exam revealed he was deaf in 1 ear. The two collapsed on the ground, feeling their future was hopeless. From then on, Carl gave up on himself and even burned his unemployment benefit application form. Annie stumbled upon a job posting and waited outside the company at midnight, only to be told that only a dishwasher position remained, and the agency demanded a $500 fee. She spent all her savings to get the job, but was required to work as chef, dishwasher, and server all at once, handling all the restaurant's menial tasks by herself. At work, Annie encountered the restaurant's former head chef, who had become an alcoholic, but her attempts to persuade him to quit drinking were unsuccessful. The boss was a hands-off manager who even caused the restaurant to be investigated for tax evasion, leaving Annie unemployed again without receiving her wages. When Carl confronted the boss, he was beaten and even taken to the seaside, with threats of being thrown into the ocean, ultimately abandoned at the dock. He hid his injuries, but Annie mistakenly thought she had been abandoned. After Carl recovered, the company refused to pay severance compensation, and the bank repossessed their furniture due to overdue mortgage payments. Annie and the former restaurant security guard came up with the idea of opening their own restaurant, but they were troubled by insufficient startup capital. Carl sold his car for only $8,000, and their loan application was rejected due to his unemployment. With nowhere else to turn, the couple took their belongings to a casino for one last gamble, and after failing, they chose to lie flat and give up. At this point, a beauty salon took interest in Annie's experience and wanted to hire her as an assistant, and the former restaurant's female owner even offered to invest in opening a restaurant. Annie regained her spirits. Carl sent the former head chef to a rehabilitation center, and together they prepared to open the workers' restaurant. On opening day, the restaurant initially had no customers, only welcoming guests after nearby workers got off work. Annie stood on the rooftop looking back at the past. Carl approached and put his arm around her shoulders.